Now that you have mastered computing the central tendency and measures of dispersion, then you are now ready to compute the mean, variance, and standard deviation of a discrete probability distribution. Again, discrete probability distribution is the list of random variables. You are listing the possible outcomes. And the property is it should always be equal to 1. All the random variables should always be equal to 1, or the possible outcomes, the probabilities. So in this lesson, you will be learning how to illustrate and calculate the mean, variance, and standard deviation of discrete random variable, interpret the mean of a discrete random variable, and solve problems involving mean, variance, and standard deviation of probability distribution. Let us start right away in knowing the steps by having this example entitled surgery patients. So it is already given here the probabilities, no, that a surgeon operates on 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 patients in any day are 0.15, 0.10, and so on respectively. So we have here the variable which is 3, the probability of having the surgeon to operate is 0.15, okay, to operate on a patient of 3. So there are 3 patients for that day. Maybe we do not know. So 0.15. Then you also have 4 for 0.10, 5, that is 0.20 probability. This is in decimal form this time. Okay. So we are asked to find the average number of patients that a surgeon operates on a day. So they are having that exact estimation. They are just estimating if what is the number of patients that will be coming in their hospital or that certain doctor will operate on. Okay, so we know that the average is the same with finding the mean. So we are just going to construct again our probability distribution. Okay, this is now our probability distribution. This time this is in columns. The other one that you learned in the previous video is the in a row. This time this is in a column. So number of patients, there could be there might be 3, so you have 0.15 and so on. You're just listing here this variable and then this random variable that you have here. Okay, next step, you're going to multiply the number of patients to its corresponding probability for you to find the weight. You need to find the weight. Therefore, you will have 0.15, 0.40, 1, 1.50, and 0.45 hundredths. So here you are multiplying each from x times p of x. So you have here x times p of x. 3 times 0.15, you can use calculator, 0.45. 4 times 0.10, that is 0.40, and so on. Next step, for you to find now the mean, there's no need for you to divide it by the total number, since total number of let's say variables, since you already find the weight already. Okay, so you will add it. You are going to add all the products of the number of patients multiplied by the probability. Then you are going to add the 0.45, 0.40, 1, 1.50, 2.10. But before that, you need to check if your probability is equal to 1. So you need to add it. So 10 plus 20, that is 30, plus 15, that is 45, plus 30 plus 25, that is 1. So in here, it will not be equal to 1, of course. So you're just going to add it, and then this is now the mean. So these are the number of patients, the random variable that we have, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, the center here is 5. And of course, since we have our probability, we need to consider it also. But by just merely looking at this list here, the center is 5. So you can have 5.45. exact measurement. So 5.45 is closer to 5. Okay, so that is the mean, or one of the central tendencies, the center. Okay, so this is now the formula. Next, variance and standard deviation of discrete probability distribution. Okay, so we are going to find now the variance and standard deviation. So listen carefully to the steps. Let us have another example here. The number of items sold per day at a retail store with its corresponding probabilities is shown in the table. So we are asked to find the variance, standard deviation of the probability distribution. So we are already supplied with this probability distribution. But if we are not yet supplied, and of course we need to construct it. Okay, we need to construct it. So you have numbers of items sold and then the probability of having it. So you have the step one, find the mean. Yeah, just like what we did in the example about finding the central tendencies and measures of dispersion of the dogs. Then we need to find the mean, because this is important, let's say, value that we need to have before solving the variance and standard deviation. So the mean, so the same process that we did in our first example, we just multiplied the random variable x and then the probability, and then have it in the third column, and then add all the products, and then you will have 20.80 somewhere here between 21 and 20. So that is now the mean. And we know again that the variance is is the squared of the difference from that certain datum to the mean. So we are going to simply subtract this variable here, 19, by the mean, which is 20.80, denoted with this here, x minus the mean. By the way, this is the symbol for mean in Greek. This is mu. Okay, x minus mu. So, ayan. Step 3, of course, we need to square it. So let us subtract it first. So 19 minus 20.80, that is negative 1.8. Next, 20 minus 20.80, that is negative 0.8, and so on. And then next step is you are going to square the difference of this fourth column, x minus m. You're going to add square here. So you already had the differences here, and then square. So you'll have 3.24. You have negative 1.8 squared. You're going to use your calculator, of course, in squaring it. Negative 1.8 squared, that is 3.24. And then negative 0.8 squared, that is 0.64, and so on. And then, of course, it becomes positive because negative times negative, that is positive. And then you are going to, yeah, let us have the step number 4. Step number 4 is you are going to, okay, ayan, have this summation here. X minus m squared times p of x. Ayan, you are going to multiply. This is a little bit long process, but let's say simple process. Okay, so you will have to multiply the products here. So 3.24 times again to the probability, which is 0.20. So just try to remember the notations here so that you will be guided. So you are done solving for this one. You're just going to multiply it by p of x. So 3.24 times 0.20, that is 0.648. You're going to do it again here. 0.64 times 20, that is 0.128 thousandths, and so on. And then you are going to sum it. When you have this notation, so this is a sum notation, you are going to sum or to add Okay, all here. So you have 0.648 thousand plus this and this and this and so on. So you will have 1.56. This time, this is now your variance. Your variance is 1.56. And then your standard deviation is the square root of the variance. This is 1.25. Okay, so again, let us sum it up what we learned, what we have learned, the steps. Okay, so we have this probability distribution, and then first thing that you need to do is to multiply the x, this random variable, times the probability, and then sum it all, then you will have the mean. And then you are going to subtract the random variable 19 and so on by the mean, and then you will have this answer. Next step is to square the difference, square it, so you will have 3.24, and then multiply the product by the probability again, and then you will have the product again here, and then you're going to add it all, you will have the variance, and then for you to find the standard deviation, you are just going to square it off, and then that's it. You are done computing the variance and standard deviation of a discrete probability distribution. Thank you so much, and hopefully you will have high scores in your modules. Thank you.